Welcome to the Oh Brother podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, is my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
How you doing, Dan?
Doing good, man. It is another almost week gone by, I guess.
It does. It felt like a week this time.
Before we get into the meat of the episode today, the topic today, which is guilty pleasures, I teased this out a little bit on social media this week, the last few days. We've also been talking about our monthly movie giveaway.
Ooh, I like giveaways.
You can't top it.
It's a free movie.
It's a free movie. And we're not talking about some old used scrap, right?
Yeah, we're talking about a sealed, brand new,
this is a
high quality movie.
Certified, never viewed, in its packaging, mint copy of the movie. But to get your hands on one of these, you've got to do a few things.
Uh-oh.
Right? You've got, okay, what's the catch? So, and we, want to do this up front anyways. If you're not already following us on social media, make sure that you are, right? We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to us there and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we put out new content. And you can also drop us an email. You can email us at obpodcast@gmail.com. That's OOH, B as in brother, podcast@gmail.com. You can even call us on our listener line, which is 407-476-8781. But what we want you to do for this monthly movie giveaway, and this first one we're going to give away, we actually referenced this in our very first episode, Roxanne, starring Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah.
Nice.
And this is a Blu-ray copy. Follow us on social media. We don't care where it is, but you got to be following us. And then you got to drop us a comment. You got to drop us a line of some kind, right, Mike?
Yeah, like Mike's great. Dan could use a little help. Something like that.
Dan's extremely handsome. Something hypothetically like
well,
that.
should be true. Should be true.
Ouch.
If you lie to us,
some things never change. Yeah, we do fact check. We do fact check. So that's the Oh Brother podcast monthly movie giveaway. Roxanne is the first one up. Who's it going to be? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be you?
Can I get it?
No. No, we are.
I love Roxanne. It's one of my top 5.
We are excluded from. We are ineligible as not only hosts, but we. I don't know how many. You probably have multiple copies of Roxanne, like every other movie.
True.
Right, and
I'll have Mom do it for me.
Those shenanigans won't work on us. Those might work with your local Best Buy, but they won't work here. The truth comes out, folks. The truth comes out.
Cheating.
So I even have, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm holding up a copy of this fine edition of Roxanne that soon will be in someone else's hands. So we're excited to do this. I think it's going to be fun, and it's just a kind of another way for us to share our love of movies with you guys. We appreciate those of you that are listening, and if you know somebody who isn't listening, get them to listen.
And we do mail to France.
We do. We will pay for international shipping. Absolutely.
If you're listening in Australia, we'll send it to you.
That's right. In the UK, wherever you might be, you are eligible. We will, at some point, we will randomly pick a winner, and then we will announce that on our social media channels. And we'll eventually get in contact with that individual, and we'll make arrangements for you to get this fine copy of Roxanne.
All right. Now let's get on with it.
Let's get that out of the way. Yeah. So now our episode this week is Guilty Pleasures. When you brought this topic up, this is really difficult.
I'm surprised you say that, because I could look at your collection and say, okay, that.
No way. Come on now. of course, we're both subjective and biased, but I'm looking saying I don't have any dogs or bad movies in my collection. But
Yeah.
of course, we wouldn't be able to do this episode if that wasn't true. Now, to me, we didn't really talk this out, but let's try to define it. If you had to put out a couple of criteria for one of these movies to make the list, what are your thoughts? Do you have any?
There's a couple things for me. Like right away, I think when you say the title of the movie, some people are going to cringe and say, that movie is awful. I hate that movie. How could you even like that? So I think that's one of the things, like I don't say to people, hey, this is one of my favorite movies. Not that these are our favorite movies. They're movies that we like to watch. They're fun to watch. They're pretty good movies, even though they might have got panned by, some snobby critic somewhere along the way.
Right.
But they're movies that are really pretty good.
Yeah.
Give them a second chance. That's why I kind of referenced The Godfather 3. People are so quick to say that's terrible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say it never even saw the movie.
Well, I came up with 3 ultimately.
And I have 3 that I picked out too. I like all 3 of my movies.
Oh, as do I.
For me, it's not like I hate these movies. There's usually some negative connotation when I mention one of these movies. I'll get a funny look, or somebody will say, oh, I heard that was awful.
That might happen on this episode, folks.
Yeah, might happen right now.
Let's get your first pick now. Are these in any particular order? Or?
That's a good question. I have them kind of sorted from my top to my kind of least favorite. So the first movie, which I think, well, let me just tell you the title. Waterworld with Kevin Costner.
This is on your list?
This is on my list.
That's shocking to me.
Well, it shouldn't be, because you know what this leads in is like the most raspberry votes.
And we were part of those raspberries in the early days.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know that. I would have never in a million years guessed this was on your list.
Because you think it's horrible?
Yeah. But if I'm being honest.
Yeah, tell me the truth.
Yeah, tell you how I really feel. Also because, as I said, I can remember you and I being really critical and
yes,
teasing this movie.
And interestingly, 2 new releases have just come out.
Now I see where this is headed. Okay. It's all right. I see where you're going.
One's 4K, and the other's a 3-disc Blu-ray release that has 3 versions of the film.
I think this could be 24K and maybe still not worth it. But all right.
No, I'm telling you, first off, and this kind of goes back to The Godfather again. This movie was tanked before it even came out.
Right.
People made their minds up, because of how much money was spent on the movie. This was like the first $100 million movie. And I think, to be exact, it was like 136 million.
Now, what year is this again? And who was the female lead in this movie?
Her name is Janine.
It wasn't Gina Davis, right?
No.
Oh, right. Janine. Oh, yes.
I'm looking at the box and I can't find. There she is. Janine Triplehorn.
Oh, yes. Jeannie Triplehorn. Is that right?
Jeannie Triplehorn. She was in The Firm.
Yes.
With Tom Cruise.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
I'm telling you, Dan, you should give this
I'm gonna have
a second watch.
I'm going to have to. That's probably what it would be. I don't think I ever would have seen this more than one time.
Yeah, and there was a lot of criticism early of how, like I said, it was sunk before it came out. The movie has become profitable. All the crying was about $100 million. Oh my God.
Right.
When you watch some of the visuals in this movie, they literally made a movie set out in the middle of the ocean.
So what is it brought in to date now?
It's over 240 million and counting.
Is it really? Wow.
And like I said, the 2 new releases, the 4K release and this new great Arrow release. I looked at the two of them and I was like, geez, they're both so good. So of course I bought both of them.
Who made who was that movie put out by?
Wasn't it Universal? Yeah,
You-
you know why I say that?
Oh, is
Because
it?
it's a big hit at Universal Studios.
See, I was gonna say, wasn't now what year did you pull a year off the cover? What does it say?
I don't have a year
It's
on it.
gotta
I can
be,
pull it up
yeah,
though.
pull that up. It's gotta be
I
I'm
will.
I'm gonna guess 1990, 91, somewhere in there. I'm thinking. I think I had moved to Florida by then. Wasn't there some theme park tie-in at some point, or there was gonna be,
Yeah,
or
because you and I went to Universal Studios Florida. I don't know if they ever did the ride there, did they? The stunt show
I don't think so. But is that what did they do that out in California?
out in California, and it's still
Okay,
out in California, and it's really popular. If you
that's
go to
crazy.
Universal City Walk,
Right.
this is out in California, you can actually see the stunts. And they literally built a set, kind of not comparable because the set they built for the movie is huge. The
Right.
release date, by the way, Dan, was July 95.
Oh wow, a lot later than I thought. Okay,
Yeah,
95. Oh, well, because I had just moved back to Florida after being
right. And
away.
I was
Okay.
living on the West Coast. I
That's
was in
right.
San Diego at the time. So we weren't
Interesting.
together when this came out. So we didn't see it together.
But okay, but so you talk about the special editions and blah blah blah, but to me that doesn't count. What is it that you like about this film?
The visuals, some of the stunts they had to pull off with, these guys were underwater on these, what do they call them? Skidoos, or that's like an old
Yeah,
man's
right.
reference.
Like jet ski type
Jet
deal.
skis, yeah, that's
Yeah.
better. They would do these stunts where they would, go underwater with these things and then pop up way in the air, and
Yeah.
some incredible stunt work. And then, like I said, when you see the city now, and I don't know if these are new shots because I just recently watched the extended cut, and I'm
Right.
telling you, I didn't feel at 1 minute like, hey, this is too long. Looking at movies today, movies are a lot longer today. It used to be 90 minutes was it. And the reason for that is they want you in and out,
Yeah.
and they want the next movie crowd, to go.
Yeah, 90 minutes was the standard, especially all throughout the 90s. That was a
It's fun.
long movie.
It's funny when I pop this up to get the date.
Yeah.
The first thing that hit me when I put in Waterworld, it said Waterworld was a massive flop, right? With a question mark. And then this guy goes on to make all these arguments why it may be good, it may be bad. Like, did it make money? Yep, it's made money. Why was it so bad? And a lot of people say it was a bad movie because it went over budget.
Right.
Today,
Right.
every movie goes out over budget. Same thing happened with The Godfather 3. He had to have it out by Christmas. It was a $50 million budget. Oh, God, $50 million. Now, Game of Thrones, one episode is $50 million. I'm telling you, give it a look. I don't want to keep going on because we got more
Yeah.
to get to.
Well, yeah, this segment is ending up longer than the movie itself. And
Yeah. But visually, I think if you watch the movie, especially the extended cut, which it explains more, the two cuts I mentioned are both on 4K and Blu-ray. And then if you get this Arrow set, and they've come down in price. When I bought them, they were both like $30, but now they're like $19.99. To get 3 cuts of a movie and all tons of extras if you like that
right.
for
Well,
$19.
it's an interesting, I mean, it's kind of fits your argument with the physical media because it's almost like all of that extra packaging is what's drawn you back to the movie, ironically.
Part of it, I've read about them redoing some of the stuff, and how they fixed the picture for the 4K.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to give it a second look, but it won't be at the top of the list. But you've got me very curious now to pull that
Yeah.
out again.
Yeah, I hope you do check it out.
So for if anybody's listening and you are a Waterworld fan, definitely hit us up on social media and let us know because, like you said, this was heavily panned, and I think you're right. A lot of that was made to do about the budget.
And to the current date, the budget was 175 million. So that was huge.
Yeah,
In 95, that's huge.
yeah, for
I
sure.
think the Avengers movies all cost 200 million to make, but they
Right.
bring in a billion. But so far, this has brought in 264 million. And
That's
now with
very
these,
respectable.
and now with these new releases, it's just going to bring in more money. So, all right, let's get to your
All right,
first pick.
let's all right. So we're shifting over. We're going to change genres first of all. We're going to change decades. We're going to change budgets. So
Changing
here's
everything.
the changing everything. Yeah. So here's a film that this film had a budget of just over 12 million. So take that in for a minute, right?
Yeah,
Now,
okay.
this was released in 2003. It is in the, I would say, I'm not sure how it's listed, but I would put this in basically the horror category is where I would place it.
Okay.
And the name of this film is Wrong Turn. And I know, there's going to be some listeners that are huge fans of this franchise. Now, I'm talking about the original movie Wrong Turn. Again,
Did
came
this
out in
have Sean
2003.
Penn in it?
No.
Who was
This
in it?
was you've either never heard of these people or you haven't heard from them since 2003, which is Eliza Dushku was probably the most
I know. Yeah, she's pretty famous.
well, right, but then it just drops off a cliff after that. So you've
Right.
got Desmond Harrington starred in this. Jeremy Sisto is a name a lot of people might know, but it's for the most part a very sort of BC list kind of cast.
I remember you saying when you saw this movie that it was disturbing.
Okay, now you, of course, you grew up with Deliverance,
Right.
right? Burt Reynolds and that
Yep.
amazing, Ned Beatty, that amazing
Yep.
cast.
Yep.
And you remember how creepy that movie was.
Absolutely.
There's a storyline in that film and characters in that film, if you haven't seen it, that will, they'll stay with you to this day. If you've seen it, it's just very creepy. So when I saw Wrong Turn in the theater, I can remember leaving that theater with my then girlfriend at the time being creeped out. And these movies do not generally bother me. It takes like Halloween is the only franchise, and I'm like one of the number one Halloween fans on the planet.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of the only those are the only movies of that type that ever kind of get me, especially the Rob Zombie reboots. If you want to call it, if you want to call them reboots, the violence is just so
yeah, way up.
intense, which of
Way up.
course is, Rob Zombie's calling
Right.
card, but
Right. He has much more disturbing movies
he really does.
than Halloween.
He does. I mean, his Halloweens look like, the Brady Bunch compared to some of his other films. But there was something about this film and I watched it again recently because, of course, I own this film. To me, that was one of the criteria. This had to be a film that's in my collection,
Yeah, that was the same with me.
And it just gives me the willies every time I watch it. It's this cast of characters that are very like this inbred kind of, deep South sort of stereotype, but to the nth degree where they're just kind of like really, really creepy and scary. But I think it's just a very well done movie. Now, I rewatched it, like I said, recently, and you're not 3 minutes into the film and you get that first kind of jump, out of your seat moment where things are happening. The pace is very fast. The way they build the tension in the film is good. And I just feel like, unlike a lot of the other films of its kind I mean, you could go to the original Friday the 13th and the original Nightmare on Elm Street and all of those. And, those are classic films,
Right.
but as those moved on, I thought they just got really silly. And I'll be honest, I have not seen any of the other Wrong Turn films, and maybe I should.
Right.
As a point of comparison, but
right.
This as a horror film, this is now have you seen this?
I have not seen it.
And
And I think I haven't seen it because of the way you described it to me.
really.
When you said you owned it, I was like, does he own this? I was saying that in the back of my head because I remember you saying to me that was really disturbing.
Directed by a guy named Rob Schmidt. And again, Eliza Dushku, who I couldn't tell you the last movie that she was in, but
She's
she,
still out there doing a lot of TV stuff.
yeah, she was huge at the time.
Yes.
Now, this is made in the U.S. This is hasn't even grossed 16 million.
Wow.
Ouch.
That's
Right.
it.
Right. And it's
But
open.
it probably cost what? How much to make?
Well, it cost almost 13 million.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No. And so in the
That
opening,
high a budget? What year?
2003.
That's surprising.
Trust me, folks, if you haven't seen this film and you like horror, this is a film you should definitely check out. It's solid.
I need to watch it.
You should. And I know you're not typically a big horror film guy, aside from like hell. Well, although you are pretty, with Friday
No.
the 13th, you own every single one of those.
Yeah, I've got
Nightmare on Elm Street.
I've got all of them.
So yeah, so I guess the classics definitely, but you need to add this one to your list. At least the original one. It's
Yeah,
it's
I
worth a
will
watch.
I will watch this very soon.
Now, one thing I added to my list of criteria was I wanted to use the Rotten Tomatoes tomato
Oh,
meter.
okay.
I felt as though it should be something that is got a less than 60% fresh rating, right? Like this is a rotten movie, so to speak.
Okay.
And not only that, but Rotten Tomatoes has the audience rated
Right.
percentage as well, right?
Critics versus
So exactly.
yes.
So the critics for this, it was 40% is the rating. Okay.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And the audience rating was 54, a little bit higher. A little, it's almost fresh,
Right.
really,
Right.
in the audience's view. So Wrong Turn, that's my first one out of the gate. Go
Okay.
watch it, folks.
Okay, I just had to look up Waterworld for their rating. And what did you say? It should be below 50?
Below 60%.
Okay, because Waterworld is 46 and 43. So in the audiences, which the shocking thing right off the bat is, although they're very close,
Right.
the audience is actually lower than the critics. Okay, so my movie next movie.
Yeah, what's your next?
Okay, around the same time as yours, a few years before, and it's sci-fi. This is another one that there's 5 of them, but it started with the first one called Final Destination.
I haven't seen any of these, I have to be honest.
I think you'd actually like them.
And I know this is a huge franchise.
It is, and the director of the first one is James Wan. He did all the Saw pictures.
Oh,
He's done
yeah. Right.
Conjuring. So he's become like, I think they were after him for Halloween at one point because he's become kind of he moved from sci-fi into kind of horror.
Now, does this have the same lead?
No.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
Which is one of the interesting things because there's one girl in it, Ali Carter is her name.
Okay.
She was kind of the lead in the first one. And I think she survived till the 3rd film.
See, I'll be honest. I get these confused with Underworld, Resident Evil. I think it's all the same film, but I'm just people cringing right now at my ignorance.
Cringing at those movies, no doubt. Getting back to this movie, basically what it is this kid has a vision, like a school club or something, or a team, and they're getting ready to go on a plane to do an international trip. So just as they're getting ready to board the plane, a guy has this vision of the plane crashing shortly after takeoff. And it freaks him out so much, and he can't stop thinking about it. And he gets on the plane, and he's kind of sweating, and all of a sudden he gets off the plane. He's like, I got to get off the plane. Something's not right. And he's going kind of hysterical.
Yeah.
He gets off the plane, and a couple of other students get so freaked out by him that they get off the plane too. One of them, Sean William Scott. They get off the plane, and sure enough, as the plane is still in sight from takeoff, it explodes. And there's probably people listening that say, I've had that nightmare before. People who are like, you have a fear
Well,
of flying.
yes.
Has that ever been one of your?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Among many others.
For me, I'm like, hey, if I go this way, it's going to be quick.
Yeah. You say that until you're going that way. That's a whole different
Well,
scenario.
hopefully I'm just gone when it explodes.
Right.
I'm always horrified by the people that are alive as it's going down, like the plane that went down in Miami a long time ago. We were there. It just kind of ditched into Miami. I don't know, into the Atlantic Ocean or something. Anyway, getting back to Final Destination, this theory, it gets passed on to Ali Carter. It was a boy, and I don't know, they just couldn't get him to do the sequel, I guess. Or maybe he did do the sequel. No, I don't think he did. So she kind of took over his role, and she would have a vision of something happening. So
Yeah.
it went from a plane to just other visions.
And there's what, like 10 of these films, isn't there?
5.
Oh, there's only 5. Okay.
Right. Number 5 came out in 2011. Now, this franchise, every single movie made money. I would say every single movie almost doubled the cost. So whatever it cost to make, they doubled it in receipts.
Right.
So why they haven't done one in over 10 years or 10, close to 10 years, I'm kind of shocked.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, it makes you wonder.
Usually they milk these things until, they don't make any money.
Yeah, that's another one I'll have to put on the list. I mean, I'm very aware of it and familiar with the franchise, but just I don't know. It never was one that ended up on my watch list.
Sure enough, like I'm just looking at the actual physical DVD
Yeah.
box, and Roger Ebert gives it a positive.
Really? There you
Yeah,
go.
smarter
Okay.
and good movie, blah blah blah.
So what is it on the tomato meter?
I'm just looking. Number 5, the critics 63%. The audience score was 52. 35% the original, and that's the critics.
Right.
And here's Ebert giving it a positive, but the audience score for the first one, 68%. But still, we're looking at a 5th one they did that was still pretty high. It was up there.
So we've covered horror and sci-fi, I guess.
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Right. And Waterworld, I think you would go with sci-fi.
Yeah, rom-com somewhere in there. Yeah, I guess sci-fi. Sci-fi
Okay.
makes sense.
So your turn?
And we're
yeah,
my turn. We'll somewhat stick with the sci-fi theme, interestingly enough. I'll set this film up a little bit. This is in fact, I just watched this for the first time in a long time today. So this is really fresh in my mind, but this came out in 1994. So, we're going back in time, right? And
all right.
of course, our last episode was all about going back in time. In case you missed it,
Correct.
folks, Back to the Future 35th anniversary. Make sure you listen. This one on the tomato meter, if we're going to use Rotten Tomatoes again as a criteria, the critics percentage is 44.
Ooh.
With an audience rating of 36%, folks. So this is solidly rooted on my list. What list like this, a guilty pleasure list, would be complete without a film by one Mr. Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh no. This is what I'm saying. When I look at your collection,
no,
I would get every one of his movies and chuck them out the window.
Okay, now hold on. I'm gonna try to persuade here. Now, so
all right.
The film is called Time Cop. So basically, it's a time travel crime thriller. The movie starts off in 1994. The basic premise is they come up with this group called the Time Enforcement Commission, or TEC. And it's this group of cops or these agents that travel back in time or throughout time to stop various bad things from happening that will change the course of the future. Because what you find out is you've got all these criminal types that are going back, kind of like Biff in Back to the Future, right?
Right.
When he
wants to go back and make money.
Yeah, because he knew all the sports scores from all the
Right.
championship games. So it's kind of a similar premise where,
But it sounds like Minority Report too,
yeah, it's got a little of that flavor.
which I liked that movie.
One of the other stars of this film who was really big at this time, and you'll know his name, Ron Silver.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like the poor man's Al Pacino. No offense,
I
Ron,
would
but
say the poor man's Andy Garcia.
oh man, that's a callback to our Godfather
Yeah,
episode.
that nails it
Actually.
though, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's an up and coming senator. When he gets wind of this whole time travel thing, of course, you very quickly find out he's corrupt and he's basically trying to make a bid to raise money to run for the presidency. Sounds a lot familiar. It sounds like 2020, the year 20. And so, he's going back.
I'm still waiting for the point where you get me to like
Well, no,
watch this movie.
well, here's the difficult thing. It would actually take you to watch the film because I've got to tell you, there's one scene in this film that is one of the more famous and talked about Jean-Claude scenes of any of his movies, and any action movie, quite frankly, which is there's a scene when he's in his apartment and a couple of goons break in, and it's an opportunity for him to show off his martial art skills, which quite honestly the man still possesses some pretty amazing skills even to this day. He's in really good shape even today.
Steroids.
No, that's, come on, he's the what, the Brussels, the muscles from Brussels, I think they call him.
Steroids.
Anyways, okay, Mr. WWE. Anyhow, but there's a scene where he does this split up on a kitchen countertop that is,
I think I know that scene.
any man watching this film, it's a difficult scene to watch, but it's so impressive because it's him doing it. It's not like it's some stunt double. I mean,
I can't believe he's still around.
Jean-Claude could have gone the way of Arnold. Somewhere in there, he took a left turn, and he took a wrong turn, no pun intended. His acting in this film, look, I'm not saying it's Oscar worthy or anything close.
I
to
hope
that.
not.
No,
you say that,
but
we're ending the podcast.
No, but it's decent. So it's got good action, and
there, you do bring up a point where, like, how does Arnold Schwarzenegger make it?
right.
I'm not going to call him a good actor by any stretch of the imagination.
Is it management? Is it his agent?
I don't know. I think it's movie choice.
Or movie choice. I don't know.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, we could look at a lot of Arnold's choices, but maybe at that time, yeah.
They were just good enough to be entertaining where you sit there and say, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Jean-Claude didn't quite make those same choices.
No, but even when, if you look in, who are some of the other big martial art actors?
The one who's really awful.
Yes.
Stevie Seagal.
Yeah, Stevie Seagal, yeah. I wouldn't even put him in that category because, Jean-Claude has legitimate skills, but there was some really, if you go back and you look at the films of 1994, I mean, it would have been difficult for any film to make money that year. There was a huge, you're talking Pulp Fiction came out then, Forrest Gump. I mean, the list is pretty unbelievable of what was out just in that year.
Yeah, those are you just hit two movies. One that's basically a film noir,
right,
updated,
right,
and the other one that had groundbreaking special effects.
Now, Time Cop's budget was $27 million. It's grossed over $100 million.
Wow.
It's
I'm still not sure I'm going to see it, but I'll catch Wrong Turn. Well, if somebody lays a copy at my door and I trip over it and hit my head, I might watch it.
If you tune into the Oh Brother podcast, you might just pick up one of these beauties on Blu-ray for the monthly movie giveaway.
That won't be a giveaway, folks. That will not be a giveaway.
Listen, if I'm going to watch Final Destination and certainly Waterworld again, you've got to give me some viewing time for Time Cop.
I might take a look. I'll watch Wrong Turn, but I don't know about Time Cop.
At least watch the trailer.
I'll do the trailer.
Okay, it's a deal.
And if I find it like that I could stomach more of it, I'll do more of
I don't know. I think when you see this mullet that Jean-Claude is sporting in the
it.
year 2004, you might change your mind. Here's a film, also like Time Cop it was released in 1994. So coincidentally, I've got two on my list from the same year. This is another action thriller.
You don't say that with a lot of confidence.
No, it is. It is.
Okay.
It stars one Mr. Sylvester Stallone. The name of the film is The Specialist.
Is this with Sharon Stone?
It is. Yes.
I remember because she was really hot then.
Yes.
And I remember the shower scene.
Oh, yeah. There's a
I remember that.
Very steamy scene in there. So Stallone plays this character named Ray Quick. He's a specialist, a bomb expert, worked for the CIA along with his buddy James Woods, who plays a guy named Ned Trent.
Oh God!
But in this film, it's classic James Woods, like many of his performances. And Eric Roberts is in this film, Julia's brother. He's another. There's someone else who's kind of dropped off the face of the earth. So basically, Sharon Stone, her parents are killed when she's a little girl. She's out to get revenge on those that killed her parents, which of course is, Eric Roberts and his family. They're the ones that are responsible. So she hires Stallone, who is, long retired, but kind of a gun for hire type. It turns out that James Woods' character ends up also being hired by Eric Roberts' crime family. And so, of course, he and Stallone meet again as characters. And, it's about kind of their pitting against one another, while this storyline is playing out, basically.
And why should I see this?
It's a great film. Look, this has grossed almost $200 million.
Eric Roberts is a poor man's Mickey Rourke, right?
Or a poor man's Ron Silver, perhaps?
Or a poor man.
That's probably more accurate. Budget for this film was $45 million, and like I said, it's grossed not quite $180 million. But
give me the Rotten Tomatoes on this.
So the Rotten Tomatoes the critics' Rotten Tomatoes is 44%. So it's a solid rotten movie.
Right, I'm riding with the critics, I think.
And the audience. The Specialist audience rating 36%, folks.
Oh my God!
So it's solidly in this list,
Wow! And you want me to watch it?
Yeah, but it is all right. I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Stallone. I'll admit it, because
I think a lot.
Although Daylight, I think I walked out of that film. But
Daylight's pretty bad.
Cobra, obviously all the Rocky films. I mean, Expendables, you name it. I'm Sly for life. It's just one of those films where
Cobra could have been on this list.
Cobra definitely could have been on this list, as with so many others. But The Specialist with Sly Stallone and Sharon Stone, it's a solid film. Like you've said before, if this came on TV and I was flipping the channels, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to stop and probably watch this film straight through. It's just solid action. I love it.
I might take a peek at that.
Again, watch the trailer.
I will. All I remember is that shower scene.
Yeah, it's steamy.
I guess I know why, but I'm like, I don't know why. How would I have caught that and not seen any else?
Well, you probably flipping around on TV and it was on or something.
It's probably like Cinemax late at night or something.
Cinemax. All right, what's your next pick?
Okay.
This is your third pick.
Third pick.
Make it a good one, folks.
It meets all the criteria. People are going to definitely wince. Starring Dustin Hoffman, Warren Beatty, Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin.
Okay, the name of the film?
Yes.
Ishtar.
Oh, but this is not. You're punking me.
No, why?
Nobody likes Ishtar.
Nobody likes Ishtar.
Dustin Hoffman doesn't like Ishtar.
I agree.
How dare you?
I'm telling you.
I cannot believe Waterworld and Ishtar.
Well,
Folks,
Waterworld is definitely much better.
In case you didn't know it, we didn't anticipate nor plan for the Oh Brother podcast to go any further than 9 episodes. So we appreciate you joining us. It's been a fun ride, but this is where we have to say goodnight.
Give me a minute. Give me.
Ishtar,
I'm
come on.
telling you.
This was more Pan than Waterworld.
It was for similar reasons, right? Huge budget.
You won't watch Time Cop, but you'll watch Ishtar?
I'm telling you. I think if you sat down and watched Ishtar, you would laugh. Think
I'm
about
laughing.
Charles.
I'm laughing right now.
No, think about because it's a comedy. It is a comedy. But think about those three guys.
Yeah, Hoffman and Beatty across the desert, something or other. I don't
know. Exactly. See, you've got this image of it, but it's probably the wrong image because of all the negative press. And to look at your tomato ratings here,
this got to be single digits.
This is
it's
pretty low.
Be single digits.
The critics have it at 37.
We'll fix this in post, folks. This won't make it to air.
Critics 37, audience 38. So pretty much in agreement.
Wow. Okay, pretty much in agreement. That's funny.
As far as the movie goes, it's one of these movies that, in fact, I'll tell you, when I saw this, it was in 85.
Listen, if you're not watching Time Cop, there's no way in hell I'm watching Ishtar.
A friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, we sat down just to watch TV. There was nothing on, basically, and we stopped at Ishtar. And we find ourselves chuckling through the movie. I think it's definitely worth a few laughs.
I can't believe Ishtar is on your list.
It is, and I know I'm not going to get you to watch it.
Now, who was this directed by?
It was directed by Elaine May. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, no idea.
You know Charles Grodin's one of the funniest guys.
Oh, no question. I mean, Hoffman as well. I mean, Dustin Hoffman can be extremely funny.
Exactly, and I think Warren Beatty is a great actor. I mean, Heaven Can Wait. And
Tootsie, I would have been fine with Tootsie.
Yeah, but that's a solid. Tootsie's a highly rated movie.
Wow.
This is a guilty pleasure.
It really is. You are guilty.
But think of here's the setup, right?
Yeah, you're
Hoffman
guilty, and I object.
Beatty. Hoffman. Oh wait.
You're out of order.
This whole podcast is out of order. Hoffman and Beatty are these terrible songwriters, right? Down on their luck, but they get a gig in Ishtar.
Right.
And they bill themselves as like the Simon and Garfunkel of Ishtar.
Sign me up.
I'm having a tough time selling this one to myself all of a sudden.
I'm sold, folks.
But I haven't seen it in a long time. But I was looking through
Did we talk about our monthly movie giveaway?
This one happens to be sealed.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you sure you open that one? It's not too late. We can add that to the giveaway.
No, this one, you'll get a much better movie than this.
Holy moly.
But
oh my God.
It meets like, I just cleaned out my collection and
I would hope so.
I put it in my hand.
Yeah, I think you got some more cleaning to do. Oh my God.
I read the back of it and then I thought about watching it way back when and us chuckling through the whole thing. And I thought, you know what, this is probably worth, I'm embarrassed to say I have it. The box office is great on this one. 51 million spent, right? More than The Godfather 3.
Wow.
Takes in a huge 14.
It's a loss, folks.
It's a loss. We have a loss.
Oh my goodness.
So
we should.
I hope somebody comments about Ishtar. I hope somebody writes in and says, you know what, Mike was right. I've watched that movie and I laughed. I thought it was funny.
Now you said it's taken in to date about 50 million?
No, that's how much it cost.
Oh, but it's only taken in what, 15?
14.4 million.
Oh my God. Wow.
And you figure out of that 50 million, I'd say 40 went to Hoffman and Beatty.
Incredible.
And then the rest was travel. expenses
Yeah.
to Morocco.
Well, so there's our guilty pleasure.
All
I want
right.
to know, I want to hear from the listeners
If
what their
somebody
guilty
defends
pleasures
me,
are.
I do too. And if somebody defends me with Ishtar, I will buy you a brand new copy and send it to you.
I think we have a solid list of 6 shitty films, folks.
Yeah. 6 films that we want you to watch, but we know you're not going to.
That's exactly. But I want to hear what your guilty pleasures are. So drop us some comments and on our social, and let us know what's on your list.
Check out Waterworld.
And are you
Seriously, check
fans of
out Waterworld.
Ishtar? No, don't check out Waterworld.
And if you're a
I'm
fan
Cop,
of
folks.
Ishtar,
I'm Cop.
say, Mike, send me Ishtar and I'll do it.
All right. Well, that wraps up this episode, folks.
Thank God, huh?
Appreciate you joining us again this week. Our monthly movie giveaway. First one out of the gate is what, Mike?
Roxanne.
Roxanne.
Great movie.
Great movie. So you got to follow us on social media, and you got to drop us a comment.
That's a movie that's everything. It's funny.
Oh, it's
it's drama. It's just a brilliant adaptation of Cyrano. Get in on that giveaway.
Again, you got to follow us on social media. Drop us some comments. Let us know what you like about this episode or any episode or the podcast in general, things you might want us to feature on future episodes. And you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got a YouTube channel you can subscribe to as well if you want to follow us there. And you can also drop us an email at obpodcast@gmail.com. That's OHB as in brother, podcast@gmail.com. And if you want to leave us a voicemail on our listener line, that's 407-476-8781, 407-476-8781. Well, for now, I've been your host, Dan Smith, alongside my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Frankly, you're old, you're white, you got no shtick, you got no gimmicks.